Hello and welcome back, everyone. I am your manifestation coach, Natalie Schlute, and today we're talking about how to train your mind to attract what you desire through the law of attraction. This is so important because our mind is where our soul is held. It's where our consciousness is, and it's how we can affect every other system in our body. There are a lot of things that come into play when we think about the law of attraction and we're trying to shift our energy, our vibrational frequency within our body in order to manifest and to draw forth more of what we want from our external reality. But everything really starts in the mind. It starts in the mind with how you focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so it's so important to train your mind to focus on what you want and what you desire and how you want to feel in order to attract more of the good stuff in life. And so today's episode, I'm going to be giving you the ins and outs of how and why your mind is so powerful and the kind of the foundation of how that works with the law of attraction. And then I'm going to give you three very important tips that are going to help you shift your mind, things that you can be aware of in your own thought process so that you can start to master your mind. You can start to train your mind to attract whatever it is that you desire in your life. If you love all things manifestation and mindset, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I have new episodes for you. I also have tons of playlists on my YouTube page, so you can check that out as well. So let's dive right in. The way you think affects your reality. It actually creates your life. It allows us to see things and experience things in a perspective that we choose, or from an automatic perspective without us realizing we're making that choice. And so life is different for everyone. You can have a dozen people in the same room, they can experience and witness the same event, and everyone is going to see something different. They're going to feel something different. They're going to have different memories of it. Some may take it as trauma. Some may have a realization, an aha moment. Some may not even take any of it personally at all and completely forget the event even happened because it just didn't register as something that was important for them to happen. And so understand that we all experience life differently based on how we see things and how we think about things, how we create emotional attachments to things. So our mindset is very, very powerful. Two people can be in the same room and they can both be experiencing the same food. They can be eating the same dinner and they're going to taste it differently. They're going to experience it differently. One may have food preferences based off of how they grew up or what their expectations are based off of their culture and experience. Another person may be desiring something different. Some of it's coming from the body, but a lot of it's also coming from the mind and how we see and view things in the everyday. And so by shifting how you think, you actually shift how you feel about life as well. Most people don't realize this, but those who study the subconscious mind understand that the amount of thoughts that we have every day is anywhere from 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and approximately 90 to 95% of your thoughts are the exact same thoughts you thought yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before that. Our thoughts are actually on repetition for the most part. The way we see the world, the way we view the world, and the way we experience the world is on repetition. So you'll notice there are certain people that just have a really positive experience of life. They always seem happy, they always seem joyful, they're always appreciating things and finding gratitude in life, and they just kind of walk around in bliss. And then there are those that walk around and everything is always wrong. They're either always worrying, they're always kind of depressed, or maybe they're slightly angry and they're holding on to energies from the past. They're holding on to thoughts from the past, resentment from the past, and their bodies are on a pattern, on this loop and this cycle, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And that's typically because we've created a thought pattern. We've held on to past experiences and things as our deeply rooted truth in our subconscious mind, and things that we don't even realize are on repetition until we stop and slow down and we start to pay attention to how we're showing up. When you slow down to see what your thoughts are every day, when you slow down to see how your body physically feels, how do you feel in your skin? What energy is running through your nervous system? What emotions are coming up for you on a daily basis and on a weekly basis? When you start to see your own patterns, you suddenly wake up to your own programming, which typically starts with emotions and thoughts at some point in the past. And so if we're always living out of the past, if we're always living out of these repetitive cycles of how we think and how we feel, and we keep thinking and feeling the same way day after day, or at least 90 to 95% the same day after day, and we're not doing a lot of work to consciously move out of those energies, to move out of those emotions and out of those thought patterns, then we're going to continue to repeat a similar energy and vibration through our life. We're going to continue to attract similar things because we have a similar state of being emotionally. We have a similar state of being with our mindset. And so we're going to be energetically putting out a similar vibrational frequency into the universe. And we are therefore going to be attracting, through the law of attraction, similar things. Things may change. You may get a new relationship. You may move apartments or houses or jobs. But if you don't really deeply change how you're thinking and how you're feeling, and actively train yourself, then you're always going to have something about the same. You're always going to make about the same amount of money. You're always going to feel about the same emotionally with your life and with your perspective. You're always going to have about the same kind of relationships and quality of relationships and communication and so forth. And you're always going to stay in a similar routine without anything ever really changing. And for some people, that's good. For some people, that's all they want. They want stability, they want consistency, they want some comfort, and they just want to live in the day-to-day and enjoy. And for some, that's perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful way to live if you're happy with how you're living. But for those of you that are listening to this, you most likely want something more. You decided to watch or listen to this episode specifically because you wanted to learn how to shift your mindset. You wanted to learn how to manifest more, how to attract your desires, how to master the law of attraction. You wanted more than the everyday cycle of where you're currently at. You want something more out of life. You want to feel more fulfilled. You want to have a greater experience. You want to level up. You want to attract more love, more happiness, more joy, more financial stability, more purpose and fulfillment in your career, and so forth. There's more that you want out of life. There are things that you want that are above and beyond what you currently have. And that's great too. Whatever your choice is, it's great. But know that there are going to be more things and more effort that you're going to have to put in if you want to attract greater things than what you already currently have. You can do it. It's totally possible. You have the power within you, and you've always had the power within you. And that's what's so beautiful about this ability is we all have the consciousness, and we all deserve and are worthy of receiving whatever it is that we desire. Therefore, if you want to attract something new, you have to think outside the box. You have to think differently than you thought before. You have to feel differently about yourself and about life and the world and the possibilities than you ever felt before. In order to create a new reality for yourself that's above and beyond what you're currently experiencing and what you've experienced in the past, we have to start with shifting the mind so that the mind shifts the emotions and it shifts the energy and the vibration and the frequency. It shifts your attitude, it shifts your personality so that you are leveling up and reaching for different things, reaching for new things, and allowing those things to come to you with more ease than they ever did before. In order to attract more, you do have to change. You have to shift internally in order to get the external results that you're looking for. You must genuinely think, feel, and act differently. Show up as the future version of yourself in order to embody, in order to manifest and draw in and reach for things that you never had before. By taking new actions, you're going to get new results. By thinking differently, you're going to take new actions, right? And when we feel differently, suddenly everything in our life changes. Even in the moment to moment, when you're being present in your current reality, as you feel differently and you think differently, your experience of your current reality will also be different. And ideally, if you're in the positive mindset, your current reality will feel better and better. Even if there are higher goals that you have that you want to manifest through shifting your mindset and so forth, you still have the ability to love and appreciate and have so much gratitude for where you're at right now and all the wonderful things that you do have in your life as you're reaching for the stars. So the first thing you need to do in order to train your mind is to become aware of your thoughts, start actually watching your thoughts, and not just watch them, but question them. Start to question the thoughts that come up for you. Is this thought true and real? Is there any situation in the world where this isn't true? How can I find the opposite of this truth? Because when we just go along with our thoughts are not real. Our thoughts aren't even truth. in reality. Our thoughts are just things we keep thinking and thinking over and over again. They become a deep part of our belief system. But if we never question our beliefs, if we never question the thoughts that come up, then we will continue to move forward in life with only one pair of glasses on. And we can't see anything outside of what those glasses allow us to see. So, in order to shift how you think and how you feel, you have to question if your thoughts really make sense. Are your thoughts actually helping you? Are they supporting you? Are they helping you to be more positive? Are they helping you to be optimistic? Do your thoughts encourage you to feel confident about yourself? Are your thoughts helping you love yourself unconditionally? Or are your thoughts of things that are being hard on yourself? Are you being critical of others? Are you seeing the world as a challenging place that's limiting you and pushing back all the time? Are your thoughts creating resistance? Are your thoughts actually stopping you from taking action? Are they stopping you from moving forward? Are they keeping you exactly where you are, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and physically, so that you're not actually making the changes needed to attract what you want by shifting how you're showing up for the world? When you start questioning your thoughts, and I want you to really take the time to do this, this is a habit. This is something that you have to do habitually over and over and over again, day to day. In the beginning, it's going to feel like a lot. And at a certain point, you're not necessarily going to be questioning every thought in every day for the next 10 years, right? That's not what I'm asking you to do. But I would love for you to spend a day. Start with a day where you just watch your thoughts, notice your thoughts, maybe write down the interesting ones, and really question, where did this come from? And is there a better way that I can think? Can I think differently about this? Can I show up differently for this situation? Instead of just reacting to things that are going on in my life, can I stop? Can I pause? And can I choose to maybe assess and say something different and respond differently than I normally would and respond in a way that's better? It's a little bit nicer, a little more loving, a little more compassionate. Instead of holding myself back and procrastinating like I usually do, how can I just take action right now? Because when you take action, you stop procrastinating and you start shifting that pattern, suddenly it actually feels better. You don't have the worry and the anxiety around procrastinating anymore. You just get it done and then you feel good. You feel like this weight is lifted off. And now you've got the time to do something else. And you actually take more and more action simply by shifting, by pausing and questioning, do I really want to continue holding myself back? Is this pattern helping me? Not just the thoughts, but the physical patterns that you're doing, the actions that you're doing. Are they really helping you? Start to question everything about yourself. If you're holding on to a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of resistance, a lot of self doubt, a lot of insecurities, are those things helping you? Start questioning if they're helping you. And if they're not, just say, thank you so much for being with me, but it's time to let it go. I'm going to choose confidence instead of insecurity. I'm going to choose to take action instead of procrastinate. I'm going to choose to feel good about myself instead of feeling like I'm not worthy enough. I'm going to choose to show up differently and be a little more positive instead of being the Debbie Downer all the time. When you make these little teeny tiny shifts over and over again, day by day, just through your self assessment and watching your mind and watching your emotions and your habits and your patterns and questioning them and then shifting them, suddenly you become a completely different person, which means you are vibrating in a much higher frequency. You're putting out a totally different energy into the world, and therefore you're training your mind to attract more of what you desire simply through the shifts that you're making within yourself. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is that through this process, it's going to take repetition and creating habits. In order to create any new habit, and a habit is watching your thoughts, questioning your thoughts, shifting patterns, right? Actually saying different things, showing up differently, taking new actions, all of these things that we do to help ourselves to be better. It takes so much repetition. A lot of people say, oh, it takes 20 days to make a habit or 30 days to make a habit. That's not true at all. On average, it takes 67 days, and that's just the average, which means some things can take 200 days to make a habit. Some things can take 5 days to make a habit, but the things that are harder and more ingrained do take a longer period of time. So you need at least 2, 3, 4 to 6 months sometimes of doing something on a daily or weekly basis before it becomes an ingrained habit in you. And so it's really, really important that you understand this, that habits come through repetition, and there actually has to be a biological change in your brain the brain neuro connections actually have to rewire and fire in a completely different pattern. And they've been running in the same pattern for so long with your old habits that those are easy. Those are just so automatic. That's why it's so easy to stay the same and it's so hard to change, is because we actually have to create new neurological patterns and wirings in the brain that actually shift in our body, our mind, and emotions. And it happens through repetition. So imagine you want to go to the Olympics. If you're wanting to manifest big things, imagine it's like wanting to go to the Olympics. So it's not going to happen overnight. You can't just sit and think about it and want it and dream and wish that something's going to come to you when it's going to. No, no, no. You have to take action. You have to create the habit of every day, every week, going and doing your exercises, of eating well, of scheduling your workouts, of hiring a coach, of actually moving forward in a systematic way, progressing, so that the first month you're working on one thing, and then the next month you've progressed and you're stronger and you can handle a heavier load with your workouts. And maybe you're cycling through things, and then there's extra self-care through massage, through physical therapy, through cross training and things like that you need to do. You need to make sure you're getting good sleep and taking care of your body in a beautiful way in order to reach that goal of eventually going to the Olympics. This is the same thing. You have to address manifesting your goals with the same type of intensity, the same type of commitment, the same type of clarity and consistency that you would if you wanted to go to the Olympics. And that's how you have to train your mind, is to realize this is not just something I'm going to write it down in my journal and I'm going to write it 10 times and that's going to be it. I'm not going to do anything else. And I'm just going to expect something to magically manifest. For some people, that works with a couple things here and there. If they believe in it enough, and if their personality and their identity and mindset and energy is already aligned with it, you can manifest some things like that. But you're going to top out at a certain point, because that only goes so far. Through repetition, through actually taking actions and shifting how you think and feel every day throughout the day, suddenly each little moment, every hour, every day that compiles on top of each other creates a compound action where suddenly, before you know it, a few months down the road and within a few years, you are a completely different person. You have a totally different personality that is so much calmer and confident and aligned. You believe in yourself and you take action and you're not worried about what other people think about you. And you're living your highest and best life, attracting and manifesting everything that you desire, because you did the little things every single day that you needed to do. You question your thoughts, you watch yourself, you became a better person, you learned and built the skill sets that you needed in order to reach that manifestation. You did what you had to do and the actions that you needed to take in order to get there. And that's the beauty of this process, is that when you really commit, you can create anything you want. But you have to commit first. You have to really put in the work to create these habits with your mind. Because if you don't, if you just listen to this and you just do it one day and then you forget about it, a year is going to go by and you had one really cool day and it brought some awareness and it definitely leveled you up. But it's different than implementing in this practice into your life long term, creating the habit of watching yourself and observing yourself. Years and years have gone by. I've been doing this for many years now, and I'm still watching my thoughts. I am still watching my own emotions. I'm still watching what my nervous system does. I'm still observing myself when I get, funky feelings that come up, anger, fear, resentment, or jealousy. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting that that's still in there. And I watch myself. I watch what my mind and my body are doing. And I have a lot of peace and grace, and I'm okay with it because I know that's part of being human. Part of being human is having these subconscious patterns. And I can be upset about it, I can be frustrated about it, or I can just watch it and be okay with it and choose, okay, how am I going to shift this? How am I going to be aware of this and not let it get to me emotionally? How am I going to rewire my thoughts through new thoughts that I'm going to choose? How can I process this in a really healthy way so that I feel better about it? And I can breathe through it and I can let myself feel it and move through that energy. These are things that you want to get good at doing. These are the habits that you want to build to attract and manifest more through how you're thinking every day. And the third thing to take into consideration is that you have to think beyond your current reality. If you have average thoughts, you're going to get average results, right? We need to think above and beyond what we've experienced in the past. We need to see our future as something that maybe we've never experienced before. We see other people experience it, we know it's out there, but in order to have something new, we also need to believe that can happen for us. We also need to think, how can I think differently? How can I think more like this successful person, this person who's truly in love, this person who has the dream career, this person who is financially abundant, this person who has amazing health and energy? How can I think more like them? How can I act more like them? Maybe it's something outside my comfort zone and I've never experienced that before, or I've experienced moments of it. But how can I create a new reality for myself that's outside of my current reality, outside of my current comfort zone? And how can I push the limits just a little bit? Push your limits just a little bit every single day so that you're slowly, incrementally creating more and more of a new reality that you want. Again, we have to go above and beyond what we've experienced in the past. If we want something new, we have to think and act in new ways. And this is really the bottom line. You can't continue to be who you are and attract something new, because who you are is emitting a certain vibrational frequency that's attracting, through the law of attraction, something very specific. And that specific thing is what you see in your current reality. And so if you want to attract something new, something above and beyond what your current reality is, you have to keep pushing the limits of your mind, your emotions, how you think, how you feel, and how you act in relation to your current reality, so that you're suddenly reaching for something more, something outside your comfort zone, but in a beautiful way, something beyond the average for your life and the lifestyle that you currently have. And you have to do it despite what you see in your current reality. Because if you keep pushing those limits a little bit every single day, suddenly you are going to shift. You're going to keep shifting and shifting. And one by one, new manifestations are going to be drawn to you. Things are going to start showing up in your 3D reality little by little. And before you know, you have overhauled your entire life within months and years to come, because you've actually done the work. You've done the daily work of being consistent. You're thinking like an Olympic athlete. You're taking the steps and you're living the lifestyle of the version of yourself that has already manifested those future things by showing up as your best self here and now. So I hope this was inspiring. I hope this brought you a lot of excitement and clarity on how you can start shifting your mindset to bring in more of what you want in your life. If you want to uplevel even faster, be sure to join in my free manifestation and metaphysical download library, where I have over 70 freebies, downloads, PDFs, workbooks, guided meditations, and so much more that you can use in order to manifest more of the life that you desire. It's really great. I'll make sure I put the link in the show notes below. And be sure to check out all of the playlists on my page. I have lots of playlists for manifesting a variety of different things, whether it's love, whether it's developing your intuition, and so much more.